Hello, good day. Let's start this new lesson for Unreal Engine 5.7.2.
Hello, good day. Welcome back. In this video, we'll work on vaulting. We will also work on motion wrapping. So let's get started. Now, I want to mention that I want to change this base level. So I'll create a new level before I start working on the vaulting. So I'll type new level, choose basic. I'll save this. So I need to create a folder for levels. Content, right click, new folder, levels, file, save current level as level, call this base level, save. Then I'll make this the default map. I'll go to edit, project settings, maps. Base level, that's the default map. Base level. So the same map will be the basic map, it will be editor startup map and game default map. I'll close off this. I'll save. Now, when I go back into levels, I have no idea where the levels was at basic level. So I have no idea where that was, but this will be the basic level here. So every time the game starts, we'll start from this level. I might import something and give this a little scenery, something eventually, but I'll work with this for the time being. So the first thing we need to do is enable the motion warping plugins. So go to edit, then plugins, and we will type motion warping. That's it here. You click this. Are you sure you want to enable this plugin? Yes. And of course, you'll have to restart the engine. So just restart the engine. Okay, so Unreal has restarted. Let's just type motion warping. Yeah, it's enabled here. So you can go ahead and close off this. So now what we have to do is import the vaulting animations. You can import the animations from this link here. So what we'll do is go back to the content drawer. You go to the RPG folder, you go to the animations folder, you create a new folder, so right click and create a new folder, and you call this folder vaulting. I can open it up and you can drag the animation into here. So drag this here. We need to go to the animations, you need to choose the skeleton, need to be the SK mannequin. That's this one here. Then just import. Can double click and open this up. Yeah, so it's working. You could just save in the meantime. So you can see this animation is moving, it's actually moving forward. So it has some root motion enabled. So you need to go here to asset details. If you want to find the asset details, what you need to do is go to window and click asset details, but this is already enabled. So if we go down to asset details here, I need to go to root motion. Let's click this force root lock. So this is okay. And then you can save. Now, what we need to do is convert this animation into an animation montage. So I just close off the animation for the vaulting here. An animation montage is an animation that we can call anytime from any blueprint, and we can add effects. So there are many kind of effects. There's like Niagara effects that creates like these kind of special types effects. These special effects could be lasers and all these kind of different things. Remember when we made the video and we created the rifle firing and we had the muzzle and some kind of fire was coming out of the muzzle for the rifle. That's special effects. That was a Niagara effect. we can also add effects such as, like, let's say, motion warping. So what we'll do is go back to the content drawer, right click, go to create anime montage. We're not going to give this any special name because it will just be named vault over montage, and then we can double click and open it up. So the montage, the animation montage, looks just like the animation, but it have the different things, the different effects that you could add onto it. So what we need to do, we could pause this. You can drag the timeline around 5. You go down by notifies here. You right click, add a notify state, and then select motion warping. If you're not seeing motion warping, it's because you didn't add or enable the motion warping plugin. Note you can see all the different effects. You can see time Niagara, disable root motion, montage, notify window, and so forth, time particle effect, etc. Now what you need to do is take the cursor, bring it here, hold shift on the keyboard, and drag this. You want to drag the star around by 18, somewhere around here. So this notify is a notify state. The difference between a notify state and a normal notify is that a notify state is for a duration, and this is the duration here, but a notify, a normal notify, all right, click, and add a notify, a normal notify just be for just about 1 frame. So what we want to do is add another notify state, and we want to add another motion wrapping. Actually, what we want is really 3. We want this one, then as we move to here, there's a next one, maybe up until 34, somewhere around there, and then we can have a last one somewhere up to 50 here. So what you need to do to make this clean and to prevent it from overlapping, well, like this, we can go here. So you go by notifies and click add notify track. So this one will be named track 2. So what we'll do is we'll go around here. We want to go around 25, 26. Let's try about 26. It doesn't have to be exact. This could be an approximation. Right click, add notify state, go to motion warping, and then we can hold long shift to the keyboard and could drag to maybe around 40, 41. Yeah, let's drag to around 41. So this will be the middle motion warping. Then we can go back to maybe drag this to about 37, somewhere around here. Right click. So you go to my track 1, add notify state, select motion warping. And what we'll do, we hold on shift on the keyboard, left click this key, we drag this around maybe about 50. And then make sure we save. Let's select the first motion warping. And we need to look for a root motion modifier. So you need to go from the preview settings. So make sure you have the motion warping selected here. You go from the preview settings to details. I need to go to root motion modifier. Make sure this is set at skew warped. We also need to give it target a name. So just type, so let's go up here, type name, go here. This will be the default start. Save. And then what we want to do is ignore the default axis. So type ignore up here. And then when you have this box, ignore the Z axis and click this. Save. Don't worry, it's up this just now. And what I'll do, delete this. Select the second one, middle one. The root motion modifier is set to skew warp. Can type name. For the name, you call it false middle. Now, in terms of the ignore Z axis, we will leave this. But what we'll do, we will take off the warp rotation. So set a type rotation here and unclick this. Save. So go to the name. So have this selected. Type name up here. You call this Voltslam. So type ignore. We will take off this, ignore the axis. Now do the same for the rotation. Take off warp rotation and save. Okay, so now that this is set up, let's go ahead and open the third person characters blueprint. So I believe I just go to characters, the third person blueprints, third person character. And that's why you label your folders properly, because it's easy to find things when you're looking for things. So what I'll do, so I'll make things more organized. I'll give this a comment. So I hide everything and press C on the keyboard. I'll call this crouch. I'll just move this. So once our comment is created, you can move it wherever you want. So I'll just leave this here. We'll compile and we'll save. What I'll do here, I'll go here, select another comment. This is the default comment that comes with Unreal. Go here, just copy the hexadecimal color, Control C, go to here, go here by the color, Control V, press OK. So I just ensure that the comments are exactly the same in terms of the formatting, the comment box, file and save. Now what I'll do is add the motion warping component. So I'll click the add button, then type motion, select this motion warping. So I'll go ahead now and press enter. And we don't have to do anything to the motion warping. What you need to do now is to create, like, let's say, a new function. So we'll go to here, functions, press the plus button, and type volt. So the first thing we'll do is drag from here and create a for loop with the break. You know what? I just want to make sure that this is something I can remember. So I'll change the name from, I'll put a question mark at the end of volt. So I know this is something that I created. I'll compile. Okay, I can't compile yet, but I could save. So I have here for each loop would break. I don't think it's supposed to be the each. It's supposed to be for the for loop would break. So I'll drag from here, type for loop with break. Yeah, so it's a difference between for each loop would break and a for loop would break. Yeah. So I'll delete this. Compile and I'll save. For the first index, you'll have 0, but for the second index, you'll put 2. And this is okay because what happens is that Unreal starts counting from 0. So we have 0, 1, 2. So we have, when you go back to the, well, when you went in the montage, we had previously the warping. Let me show you it. When you go to vaulting, when you go to the montage, the motion warping, there were 3. So you have 0, 1, 2. Because in Unreal Engine, we start counting from 0 rather than start counting from 1. For the loop body, we'll drag from here and type sphere trace by channel. Compile and save. So what this sphere trace by channel will be is an invisible sphere. It will have a start location, it will have an end location, and from the sphere, it will be able to detect some objects. So if you recall that in an earlier video, we used something similar to this. It was called line trace by channel. When you use the line trace by channel, it projected a line, a straight line, and it was able to detect objects. So anything that the line that was touching, anything that the line came in contact with, the line could have detected. If the line did not touch it, it could not detect the object. The spear traced by channel works more or less the same way. There will be a spear, so you can move an object and the spear will move. If you come in contact with the spear, then that object can be detected. Objects that is not in contact with the spear will not be detected. And this is used for, like, let's say, well, I'm going to use this here for the vaulting, but this can be used for, like, let's say, when you want to apply the attacks. So you have a weapon, some melee weapon, and you want to swing your weapon, and you want to detect whether or not a player has been hit with the weapon, and you want to apply some damage. You have use the spear traced by channel to apply such. So what we'll do here is right click and get actor location. You'll drag from here, type add. So let's move this across. Then we'll go to here, right click and split the pin. So you want to, I'm gonna move this and create some space. So you want to get the index of our loop. So multiply. You multiply this by, let's say, about 30. Save. So what we'll be doing is creating 3 different line traces with an offset of 30, so they will be separated from each other. So that will be the Z value across here. And this will be the starting point. So if, let's say, I put a radius of about 5, and let's say we want to see the line trace, well, the spear trace, so we put for duration so it's visible. Compile and save. Now let's go to the event graph. So we go to the event graph, right click, type, well, we have a key, so let's type left shift. So on this key here, we just want to test this, and we want to go to the function. So I have vault. On pressed of left shift, we will vault. Compile. Let's just go to level. We press play. What will happen if the character can move around? We press vault, and we can see the 3 line traces appearing right there every time we press it. So we know this is working. So now let's go back to the function of vault, and we want to set an ending point. So right click, get actor rotation. Select this. We'll drag from here, get forward vector. Compile and save in the meantime. And we want to go ahead and multiply this by the distance. So type multiply. So we will right click. We'll convert to a float, double precision. What I'll do, I'll drag this a bit out here. What I'll do, I will, for the distance, you put it like about 180. You want to add, so I duplicate this. So this is the next add pin. And we want to combine these 2 things together. So we'll connect this. And we'll connect this. And then you can drag in here. So this will give us our endpoint. We'll compile and we'll save. Now if we go to level and press play, if we press shift, we see the line traces are going in front of us. So that's good. It's working as intended. So now what we want to do is check with our branch if we hit something. So press B on the keyboard, then left click, connect this. And for the condition on the hit, what we'll do, we'll drag from here and break hit result. And we'll connect this for the return value. Then open up this. So if we hit something, we want to break the loop. So what we'll do, we'll select from through here and we'll drag it to the break here. Just connect here. All right, so that's better. Compile and save. So to test this out, I'll go to the base level. I'll add a shape. Let's add a basic shape like a cube. I'll bring this about here. I'll press play, and you can press shift. Okay, so we can do so we press shift and we do all 3 line traces. So what I'll do, I'll take the shape, I'll drag this down a bit. Now I press play, turn around, we press shift. We do only 2 line traces because what will happen, we did the first one, then we did the second one. We didn't do the third one because the loop ended up being broken. So what I'll do, I'll drag this down even further. So press play. You have the character here. Press shift. We just do 1 line trace. So the logic that we just created is working. So that's very good. So what we want to do now is just drag on here and make a sequence. Compile and save. So what we'll do next is that we go here, drag from here and create another loop. Type for loop with break. Now for this one, for the last index, you'll put a value of 5. So that will be like, let's say 6 different options. And you need to make another sphere trace by channel. So I'll just duplicate this and connect here. So what we want to do is get the location we just hit. I want to add. Well, we're going to add here, select the separator, and we'll add in the height. So that will be in Z 100. So to essentially allow us to go up. So we'll get the index, and we'll multiply. And we'll multiply by, let's say, around 50. So what we want to do here again is add. So I'll duplicate this. And we want to get the forward vector and the actor rotation. So I'll duplicate this. You realize I keep using some nodes over and over. Make sure you connect this. We'll drag from here, multiply. You multiply by this here. Compile and save. And now you can go ahead. And add this. And now you can go ahead and connect to the start. Compile, save. Go to level, you could press play. What will happen? Press shift. All right, so we realize that it could go up as well. So you could do the first one like this. And second one will go up. So we know it's working. So what we need to do is go back to here. We can duplicate the add. So we have the start point. Now we have to get the end point. So you can move from here and type subtract. You can go by Z and you can subtract 1,000 from the endpoint and put it here. Compile and save. This needs to be 100, not 1,000. So that's my mistake, my bad. Compile and save. So now you can go to level, you can press play. What you can do is go by the object here, press, go closer, press shift. So what you can see is that line trace went forward, then it went downwards. So I mean, that is good. because we want to be able to vault over the object. So it's detecting the object here, and then it's detecting the object from the side, and then it's detecting the object from the top. So this will allow us to play the animation that we want to do the vaulting over. So this is good. The line trace is detecting as we want it to. So if you go back to here, I want to go back here and I want to show you something. I'll just bring this down a bit. So what will happen, right? If we press play, we go to this object here, right? Remember the objective is to vault over the object. Well, we can't jump over the object. So what we can do, we press shift. So we realize that if we look at the line trace, when we press shift, the first one it's going through, the second one, third, fourth, it's going through, and then from the fifth, it is not touching, it's not colliding. So basically, what this will show us is that we can go over the object, and then from the fifth line trace, then we can go ahead and do the vault animation. That's why we are doing this. Now, what we want to do is create a branch to see if we have hit something. We can break the hit result, break hit result, make sure this is connected as a condition. Click here to open this up. So what we need to do, drag from here and make another sequence. We'll drag from here and make a branch. It will be, for the condition, it will be an int equal to. Then we need to plug in the index. So that's this index here. So I want to plug in this index. So plug in the index here. And then I'll drag this back across. I'll create a reroute node to make this easier to manage. So you want now to go ahead and to create a new variable. I call this vault start pause. This variable should be a vector. Compile. You save. This variable will be our position from when we start vaulting. So you can go now and set this variable. Drag it from here and press set. So drag and we'll connect the location to this variable. So that's how you're going to populate this variable. Now to preview this, we can just drag from here and draw a debug sphere. You could put a radius of like 10. You could put a thickness, or you put the duration, maybe about 5, thickness 5, line color. Let's put about a kind of something like red. Compile, save, go to level, press play, shift. Okay, so we see it here. It's red. Press shift. So that kind of maroon area here, that's the area from which we will start the vaulting. So now we can go back to the third-person character blueprint. So we have the first point. Now let's get the middle point. So what we need to do is go by the variables, click here, call vault middle position, well, POS for position, compile. So you know we set the first one, so we have to set the second one. So you know what? Let's create some categories. So we have the variable here. Let's go into category. We have default. So let's just create a category here. I'll call this vault. This as well will be a vault. Compile and save. So this video is becoming relatively long. So what I'll do, I'll end this video here and I'll continue in the next video. Thank you.
That is it for this lecture. Do you want to learn more? Like and subscribe. You can also contact us, Impulse Response Enterprises Ltd.